David Kranzler was one of the first, and perhaps the first, to educate us on the role of religious leaders, such as Rabbi Weissmandl, and laypersons such as Recha Sternbuch, in rescue efforts during the Shoah, and that remains his major legacy. In addition, I'm especially grateful to him for opening my eyes on the immense role of a non-rabbinic person in the rescue of numerous Jews, George Mandel Mantello. Tragically, he left us at a relatively early age due to a terminal illness. I'm glad to have known him and visited him at his home in Brooklyn, where he showed me his vast basement library of books and documents. That undoubtedly remains a goldmine of source material for future students on the important topic of rescue efforts by individual Jews, mostly rabbinic leaders. May his memory be a blessing to those who will benefit from his important research work.
David, why don't you read, say who wrote that? Also read who wrote.
Who wrote it? Oh, sorry. Dr. Mordechai Paldiel directed the Yad Vashem Righteous Among the Nations Department for decades.
Okay, I'm going to read the testimony of Professor Randolph L. Graham, City University of New York. I fondly remember my several meetings with David Kranzler while he was still active at Queensborough Community College. I greatly admired his dedicated effort to document the wartime rescue activities of several key figures living in Switzerland, including George Mantello and Recha and Yitzchak Sternbuch. His two major works, Thy Brother's Blood and The Man Who Stopped the Trains to Auschwitz, proved highly useful to my own writings, relating to the rescue and relief activities of various national and international organizations during the Holocaust era in Hungary. David Kranzler's Holocaust-related writings will continue to serve as basic research sources for scholars and laypersons alike. This one, the last one.
Did you say who wrote that?
Yes, I said at the beginning.
Oh, you did. It has been 10 years since the passing of Professor David Kranzler. I had the opportunity of getting to know him through our work, and especially during his visits to Yad Vashem. We had many conversations in my office about his research and mine. David's great contribution to Holocaust studies was that he was a pioneer, exploring new subjects or approaching subjects that had already been discussed from a new perspective. His monograph on the Japanese and Holocaust was groundbreaking. His work on George Mantello uncovered a great deal of new information and added important context to the discussion about Jewish rescue activists in Switzerland, attempts to rescue Jews in Hungary in 1944, with the use of diplomatic protection and papers, and the important role played by Mantello in disseminating the information that had reached Switzerland in June 1944 about Auschwitz. I had the privilege of being asked by David to read the manuscript for the Mantello book before publication. Through his research, David shed light on other important figures involved in rescue and aid, including the Sternbuchs in Switzerland and Rabbi Solomon Schonfeld in the UK. David was a man of great knowledge, originality, and strong convictions. He was never shy about debating his ideas. Such debate lies at the heart of scholarship and is essential in the process of furthering knowledge. Through his writing and lectures, David deserves much credit for contributing to the body of knowledge about the Shoah. May his memory be blessed. Dr. Robert Rosette, Director of the Libraries Yad Vashem.
To the family and friends of Dr. Kranzler, Zal. Today we are marking David's 10th Yortzeit. David was a great researcher and historian who made a giant contribution in the field of Holocaust studies, having devoted his professional life to underscoring the feats of courage of all who reached out to Jews during the Shoah. As a child, he fled the Nazis to the USA, and there he pursued his academic career. David has written many books about the rescue operation during the dark days of World War II, and he focused not only on Gentile rescuers, but also on Jewish individuals and organizations who aided their brothers and sisters in their plight. Amongst his books, we would like to mention The Man Who Stopped the Trains to Auschwitz, George Mantello, El Salvador, and Switzerland's Finest Hour, which tells the awe-inspiring story of the Jew George Mantello and his unlikely partnership with Consul Jose Arturo Castellanos from El Salvador, who was recognized as righteous among the nations thanks to the joint efforts of the Wallenberg Foundation and the El Salvador Foreign Ministry. 10 years after Dr. Kranzler's passing, we still miss him, not only as a historian, but first and foremost as the kind human being he was. Yehi Zichro Baruch. Eduardo Urnekian, Chairman, Baruch Tenenbaum, Founder, the International Raoul Wallenberg Foundation, New York.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
As you see, David was highly regarded by many prominent people who studied the history of rescue, and especially rescue by Jews.